Hello, guys, and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I'm Michael Gracia, and I have a really fun show. We got some guys who've been on; they're coming back. We got a new guest coming on too, along with them. We're going to be checking in on their Kickstarter, talking about a lot of great stuff tonight. Let me just bring them on. They're the guys from Fugitive Poems. They're always fun when they come here. So, Christian De Matteo and James Lyons, welcome.
Hey, thank you for having us again, Michael.
Oh, anytime. How you guys doing?
Good. I dig that this is sort of like our regular hang. I like it. This is very cool.
I'm always good for that. You guys are welcome anytime.
I'm so psyched. And I won't say it yet, but in the tradition that we've developed, we made sure to have a special announcement to break on your show. You're our breaking news show. So.
Thank you. I appreciate that, and I'm excited actually for this news because I'm in favor for it. So, would you like to make the announcement, or would you like me just to show the video first?
Yeah, this is our first physical stretch goal for our Kickstarter. So we don't know if we're innovators. It was an idea that I had to alter Christian's appearance. We'll let the video speak for itself.
All right, let me share it and window. All right, different screen here. Let's go in and hit play. Is it played? Should I go back to the beginning here?
Oh, it's got a premiere.
Hold on, I'll skip it.
Oh no, it's James. What time did you set it? Oh, okay.
What? Is it wrong?
No, James. What is it set to go? Oh, okay.
I'll just skip ahead here.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to put a premiere on that one.
Okay, so let me hit play. So,
hi everyone, I'm Christian De Matteo, co-founder of Fugitive Poems. I got a little story to tell you. With all the millions of terrible things that happened when coronavirus hit last year, a couple of good things happened. One is that it gave Fugitive Poems Comics the opportunity to do our first ever comic anthology, which led to the Kickstarter campaign we're currently in for Containment Breach Volume 2, our second anthology, with so many incredible artists who have done these incredible comic stories from all over the world, writers and artists from all over the world. That was one thing. The other thing, equally important and wonderful for everyone, is that after a lifetime of short hair, desperately wanting long, heavy metal hair, I saw the opportunity to finally go for it. And just in time for the midlife crisis, the only midlife crisis I could possibly afford. Shocking everyone who'd heard me say for years, if it were possible to grow a man bun, I'd do it. And they thought I was kidding. They thought I was being wild. I grew my hair longer than I ever even imagined was possible. And at first people thought it was funny and quirky and weird, but then people started having a different opinion about it. I kind of want to keep it, but other people feel a little different. Hey, Zachary, what do you think I should do with my hair?
Cut it off.
See? But it's so cool and metal. Here's the deal. I will listen to the masses. At $6,000 on the Containment Breach Fugitive Poems Kickstarter, everyone gets an 18 by 12 beautiful print of James Lyons' Atomic Anvil. But at $6,250, I will subject myself to a samurai shame ceremony hair chopping. I will take this top knot that I have worked so hard and put so much concentration into growing and allow it to be cut off by one of my sisters in the appropriate, shameful forum of a hair chop. I will videotape it and I will put it up for everyone to see. But only if we get to $6,250. If not, well, I'm afraid that this incredibly awesome, totally appropriate for my age and hair color hairstyle will remain. It's up to you. Get us to $6,250 and you can watch someone cut my hair off.
I love it.
I'm watching that and realizing I said videotape. just in case anyone had any doubt about how ancient I am. I didn't say film. I said we will get a big camcorder. A big camcorder, like a bazooka.
We got a couple of comments here. First, Mike Wilgie, hello. Thank you for tuning in. This is insanely long. I see it regularly. I can't believe it.
So that might be one of the sisters who does the chopping.
Martine is so upset she does not want it gone.
Really?
No, you can't give away the secret. We have to make people think that one of your sisters wants to cut it off.
One of my sisters does.
So David's going to be the one that performs the ceremony.
So we're all sad. So $6,250 on the Kickstarter, and we're closing in on 6,000. And I'm gonna tease this. There's an artist at real_Jack VT on Twitter, Jack Van Thon. And if we get to 6,500, then there's another poster in it for everybody. And that's not even up yet. I haven't even shown that. But right now, if we get to 6, that beautiful, unbelievable, man bun is my favorite. It is my only redeeming quality. If we get to 6,000, everyone who ordered the physical copy will get that beautiful an 18 by 12 print of James Lyon's Atomic Anvil. The face that's there, right? If we get to 6,250, we will videotape with an ancient camcorder, a shoulder rocket camcorder.
I will buy one out of Goodwill just for this purpose.
We'll mail
Tape it in analog fashion. 720 by what is it? Wait, what was it, Mike? 720 by 480.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that size, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
Then video class. Yeah. We'll tape it.
I remember. No, actually, it was 640 by 480, right?
Oh yeah, but 720 was the widescreen size.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the 640 was the standard. Yeah, so we should do it in standard size, definitely. We'll put the black bars on either side.
So that's our big announcement just for you, and we'll see where it goes.
Oh, someone wants a lock of your hair.
Is that an extra couple of bucks, or are you going to give that away?
$250, he can have the whole thing.
If he does the 250 on his own, I will give him all the hair.
Well, you guys are at 5,844, so that's $156 into 6,000, and then another 250. I think this could be done. I say we should try to get it done tonight.
Let's do it.
How far do your sisters live from you?
One is right around the corner here. So thank you for letting us air that on your show.
I'm thrilled. I loved it. I think this is one of my favorite stretch goals I've ever seen.
You can thank James anytime it comes to humiliating me. He's got great ideas.
I want to know if we're innovating here. Have you ever seen any like physical Jackass style stretch goals before?
Not that I've noticed. I don't know.
I've seen hair dyeing, but not chopping. Air it on your show.
It will be on this show. I want to do this live. I will do a special day, like a Thursday night, Friday. I'll come on Saturday night. I don't care. All right, as long as it's not during my trip right now. But
maybe that's the 65. Oh no, wait. So we got Jack for 6,500. For 6,750, I'll dye my beard bright red or something.
Wow. So you guys, let me just stop sharing. We'll come back to your screen in a moment. We had someone else in the green room, but he got kicked out, so we're waiting for him. We're waiting back for Andrew Gonzalez of the Spider's Web, located at 887A Yonkers Avenue in Yonkers, New York, across from the casino, to come back on. We're going to have a little chat with him too. But in the meantime, you guys, you've been on a few times, and one of the things that I'm always up for talking about and love to talk about is the process. So if we can chat a little bit about that. So who wants to
Hey, there's
talk
Mark.
about what?
If I can interrupt one second, Mark
Yeah.
Capitelli has just signed on, and I don't know if Mark Capitelli knows, but if you go to the Fugitive Poems YouTube page, you can see the elusive and reclusive Mark Capitelli, our senior editor on Containment Breach Volume 2, who has been phenomenal and brilliant. I mean, one of the most incredible editors I've ever worked with. His 3-minute meet, Containment Breach 3-minute meet, is now up, and it is also premiering tonight. But don't watch it until after this interview.
Actually, it's set to premiere at 9, so you can't.
Okay. Well, we got Andrew back, so let's start with Andrew in case he has to go early. All right, then we'll get back to talking about process because I love that stuff. So, hello, Andrew, you there? Hold on. I think he froze, or he's having a little internet issue, I guess, right now.
He's keeping us in the dark.
Let's see. I'm removing him. He's frozen down in the green room. I'll wait till he moves a bit. Let's try that. Nope. Okay, I'm just going to give him a quick text. Not test. It's not in the classroom. Okay.
And shockingly good looking, Mark. Phenomenal, brilliant, and shockingly
good.
Looks like
come back over here. Oh, there it is. Hello.
Hey.
I don't know. I got Obadiah Stane trying to hack me out of my own stuff. I think it's ridiculous.
Look who I'm wearing. Jeff Bridges.
This guy, he's hacking my stuff.
He's MCU embodiment, Obadiah Stane.
My God.
So, Andrew, thank you for coming on.
Most definitely.
I just want to Mark had a comment too. And so, Andrew, you are, and let me get this off my messages today. I want to get your title correct from the company. You are the executive manager and director of relations for the Spider's Web in Yonkers, New York.
Yeah, I'm not sure what executive means, but definitely all that for sure.
Listen, I wrote Paul today. By the way, you guys, Paul is the owner. He is a great guy. He was going to come on, but couldn't get to come on tonight. So he said he said have Andrew come on because number one, Andrew basically knows everything. If Paul knows it, Andrew knows it. That's kind of how it goes. And he sent me his exact title. And I wanted to get that correct because I think that's an awesome title.
Executive.
So,
can I just tell you quickly, Andrew, what that means? It means Paul's brilliant. It means that when it hits the fan, it's on your watch. That's what it means. It's a brilliant title.
And it hits the fan quite often.
Yeah, it's going to be on you. This way, when someone's got to take the fall, you'd be like, well, who had executive in the top? Well,
Executive.
Ooh, so, Andrew, before we get into talking about like the Kickstarter and some other stuff, can you tell us a little bit about Spider's Web, how long it's been around, the kind of stuff you guys sell primarily?
Of course. So the Spider's Web is a store that's been around for about 8-9 years now. It's in Yonkers, on Yonkers Avenue. And it's run by a guy who you mentioned, Paul, who is very reader first, to the point where we could even be a little dismissive to like collector people, and not all the time, professionally, of course. But we're all about reading, and we're all about just trying to find you something there. Even kids walk out with something free just because someone's got to walk out reading something. Period.
Honey, we're taking the kids. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, I love working there. I love the place, and I like the vibe that's there. We get so many different people that ordering books tends to be this weird like thing because we got so many weird readers, so many odd readers who they scratch different parts of the whole universe.
It's funny. I was it the day after or the week after Paul opened? It was like I went in because he opened on Free Comic Book Day weekend back in May of whatever year it was, and I went there and somebody's like, "Oh, there's a comic shop in Yonkers. You got to find it. It's across from the casino." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." I go there the next day, and I've been a loyal client there, I guess if you want to call me, since since that day. Paul was awesome. What I love about the store, you guys, for who's never been there, it's a very clean store, number one, which I like. It's kind of got like a smaller Midtown comic vibe for those who know Midtown comics. And Paul and Andrew are two of the best people I've ever met in the comic industry. As retailers, I've met a lot, and listen, I'm friends with retailers, business and everything, but this is the place I go, I give my money to. This is the place I order from. And not just because it's local, because I could drive to other places in Westchester. It's because Paul and Andrew are such good people. And like he was saying, how they are reader friendly. I'll go in and I'll be like, what's been going on? I haven't read comics in a few months. Tell me what, and they will pick things out for me, knowing my taste,
That's awesome.
So they're very.
It's a funny thing we do, because our point is to sell comics. But if a book sucks and someone has it and they ask us, if you buy it, you buy it. But if you ask me, I'm going to tell you it sucks. That's period. I don't want you to walk out of here thinking I sold you some like dumb book just cause. Because it's almost like you go to a restaurant and you try their food and you try their burgers, and because it's nasty, now you hate burgers. So if you walk out of there with a dumb comic, you hate comics now. Yeah.
I wish that was true of me. I'd be so much skinnier if I had a bad version of a food and I never ate it again. I have a bad burger and I'm like, here's what we're doing. We're getting up. We're going to another restaurant and we're having another burger.
Yeah, exactly.
I grew up, what you're talking about is so important. I grew up in Yonkers so long ago that every time you guys say across from the casino, I don't know what to do, because it's still the racetrack to me. The Yonkers racetrack.
Yes.
Yep. Where every year there was the Westchester County Fair, and every year there was a shooting, and nobody cared. We still took our family there.
Yeah. That flea market was the best.
Yeah. So, but I grew up going to the Dragon's Den when it was on Central Ave in the right by where the Alamo Draft House is now, and I was there every week. And there Mark and I have been on that trip together, by the way, finding the perfect burger.
Yeah.
Which is why we look very similar. But I would go in there, and I think about this guy all the time still. His name was Santos, and he worked there forever. And I would walk in, and he would say hi to me. It had like that Norm vibe going on, right? And he knew what I picked my stuff off the shelves, but he always had stuff behind the counter for me. He's like, you're going to want to check this out. You're going to want to check this out. And I'm like, well, I don't normally buy things from that company, or I don't really know, or I'm not really into that particular character. I know. But you know how you love this run on Ghost Rider? Well, there's a tie-in to this Hulk, right? That's exactly right. And that meant so much to me. And there were times where he warned me off of purchasing something, because I spent money there because I loved it. I love comics. And Santos knew what I liked, and he knew what wasn't good, and he was reading everything, and he would take the time to talk to me, and I got to know the other people in the store. And what you're saying is so cool, because it's kind of gone. Like also in Yonkers was Tower Records, and Tower Records was a hang spot. It wasn't just you walked in, you purchased a CD, and kids, I'll explain what a CD is later. Maybe I'll take the cassette tape I have off the shelf and show you. Right. But you went there, they had listening stations. But I knew everybody at the Tower. And there, you got a cassette tape. There it is.
Willie Nelson.
Nice. And this was a hang place. You knew the people that worked there. You'd walk in and they'd be like, do you know the band Morphine? I never heard of Morphine. You're going to love Morphine. Well, it turns out it's one of my favorite CDs, right? And Santos did that at the Dragon's Den. And that's my sister called out corporate responsibility earlier. But that personal, Mark. That personal attention to knowing your client, your restaurant analogy, when I'm in between two dishes on the menu, and I say to the waiter, hey, what do you recommend? And they're, well, they're both excellent, right? But
I didn't ask you that.
But I'm going to tell you right now, this is a really classy dish, and it's delicious. But I have the mac and cheese every time I'm here. That waiter, that's the person that I love, that I'm excited about, and I need that in the store. So, and I've been to the Spider's Web, and I've witnessed what you're talking about, and it's 100% true. And I took my son Dashel there, and we had a great time. The first Titan action figure he ever bought, those 12-inch Marvel characters, we bought right there.
Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. I've been tipped. I've been tipped for remembering someone's name. Someone tipped me $5 for remembering their name. I was remember your name.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I've never tipped that.
Morphine. We got Sister Morphine on the chat.
Martine just dropped a major announcement of her own.
Rolling Stones. Christian, was that in between plate 7 and 8 or 9 and 10?
Well, see, James, that's important because between plates 9 and 10, you might be running out of room. You don't want to make a poor choice. So, yeah.
So, Andrew, you were saying your clientele is into a bunch of like, you know, a lot of different things, and they were looking at Kickstarter, like indie Kickstarters. Can you talk a little bit about when they're talking to you, what they're looking at, or, you know, are they telling you? I mean, because listen, you're in a comic shop. Your idea there is to sell comics, but people are coming in like, I don't want to buy that off the shelf because I donated to a Kickstarter. I mean, like, how are they?
So it harks back on that being cool with the customers thing, where they can say stuff like that, and the idea that we tell people, look, the book sucks. So it's people come in and then we'll talk about comics in general, and then they'll tell me about their favorite comics, and very often, people are mentioning Kickstarter or Indiegogo or just crowdfunded comics in general. Mm-hmm. And what we always talk about, what's special about it, is that if something, not to be mean on anyone's making of any creativity at all, but if something isn't good enough, then it doesn't get funded.
Yeah. Unlike
someone like Marvel or DC, where they put thousands of dollars into a book on a character no one asked for at all, and then since they spent thousands of dollars, now it's our problem. But if a book doesn't make its goal, it make its goal. Character no one. And so it's nice to have books without that level of restriction, and that's what Kickstarter and Indiegogo provide, or crowdfunded books could provide. And there are people who are attaching more to those books since I guess they get to read it all at once, since most crowdfunded books are graphic novels. Mm-hmm. And it's just made readership of comics a little more personal, where they get to choose what they want. And you can always choose on the wall. You go to the wall and choose what you want. But so many people walk out of the store without getting something they initially came to get because you only have issue 3.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have that being direct to consumer, since so many of our readers have turned to graphic novels. So they took like Spider-Man off their list and they'll just wait till the trade comes out. Mm-hmm. And if that's going to be how readership in the store is going to be, then you might as well start prioritizing graphic novel related crowdfunded books that actually were paid for and made by people who want to carry these books.
And is that something you guys are looking to do? And are you guys checking Kickstarter, seeing what's interesting to you guys that you think your customers would look, or are you still?
We're doing that. We are doing it now. Yeah.
You have a very large indie section. It's like half the store is Marvel, DC, and then the other half is, Aftershock, Image, you name it. That's an indie company, and I think you have Scout Comics, I think, in there too.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of stuff. So you guys are starting to look at, because a lot of these Kickstarters, like what you guys here have, you have retailer options. Are you guys looking at retailer options at Kickstarters now?
We're starting to now, since we're noticing that despite the store being called Spider's Web, me and Paul, our own piles are independent mostly. He'll read everything because he's reading for a long time. But whenever we talk about comics, it's always some weird independent comic that we found enjoyment in. Myself, my main company is Dynamite. That's the company I read. And but if it's like a weird underground Robert Crumb like dirty comp, I want that. That's me right there. And that's why I like Kickstarted books and all that. So we are looking at that to try to get something that people actually want in the store, people are paying attention to. Because if it's going to be an indie book that only has hype because it's being optioned for a TV show, I don't even know what that does. I don't know what that means to me, because I read comics. I don't watch comics. And so it's a tough thing to navigate. And adding Kickstarter to that is like adding another, not company per se, but another brand of comic books to try to order from. But at least once we see the retailer options there, we get the order and that's it. And then we can carry that. If we want more, we can always get more. Like it seems easy to do. And we're looking at it now for sure.
Yeah. And
we're kind of inundated, right? If it's Netflix, or if it's movies, right? If it's TV shows, if it's books, if it's whatever, there's so much of everything now. Having people that can help parse through it's so important.
Yeah,
absolutely.
The other day I was talking with a friend of mine, and I even said this to my wife the other day. I haven't finished like the What If on Disney Plus yet. I'm like, I think I've been burnt out by so many of these mainstream comics becoming movies and TV series and stuff that and the comics for the mainstream characters like the Marvel and DC are kind of changing somewhat to fit what the audience knows. And I remember reading What If as a kid, and it wasn't any of these what if stories. I remember Superman being a certain way. They just came out. Now they're going to change his costume, give him the gray hair. I don't mind the gray hair Superman, but I'm just saying they're changing all this stuff up. I feel like just for the change so they can bring in stories that, I don't know, maybe they're just not interested. I just don't feel connected to a lot of the stories anymore, which is why I went to independent almost fully back when the new 52 came out for DC, because I've been a DC guy my whole life. So I'm a big supporter of indie stuff. I have like, I think 30 or 40 Kickstarters I've been part of, backed and stuff. So I love this stuff. It's one of the reasons I love doing this with my show. I can promote people like Christian and James here who are putting out awesome work here, quality work, and you guys are putting this anthology together. Now let's talk a little, because we can get back to store stuff and whatnot, but I want to talk a little bit about their stuff. So for those, just got a comment here from Mike. I hear that. I get excited for the Batman, but I want him just done with. And here's the thing, just quickly on Batman movie, I wasn't excited when I saw the trailer. That's it. I got to say that. Everyone's saying this is a great thing, but nothing.
The characters reached such a level of height that I'm now part of the belief that I've been brainwashed to like this guy, because I don't like Batman that much. But I don't like the fact that this character gets to say I'm Batman, and then he solves the book's problem by saying his name. I don't care for that character too much, but I feel like I've been conditioned to like him because he's one of the top 3 superheroes of all time.
I say my name and I cause a problem. That's
That's how it works for me.
So, but yeah. So let's just kind of talk a little bit about. Well, before we get to your process, for those who haven't watched and this is their first time watching, tell us a little bit about Containment Breach, what it's about. You could do a condensed version, because I know you talk about this a lot, but
we love talking about it. I'm so proud of this book, and Andrew, I want this book in your store, because this is what you are talking about, and I can brag about this, and James can brag about this with not feeling cocky at all, because we only have 3 stories in the book. There are 17 stories in this book, and they're from other people, and they're from creators all over the world. What we did is we put out a call for people to send their portfolios. We did it like a contest. We didn't ask for comics. We asked for their portfolios. And then we took the people that we were most impressed with, and we had one team come in, the incredible Upstart Comics team of J.L. Collins, Leland DeBerg, Marissa Brignol, and the astounding artist Jeremiah Sheik. Otherwise, we put all these writers and artists together. They'd never worked together before. We've got 2 teams now who, after they finish this project, they're doing new stuff together. They never met before. Some of them aren't on the same continent, and some of them have never been published before, and they're amazing. And I am so proud of this freaking book. Every story has something to highly recommend it, which is not my experience with anthology. So I've been going to comic stores, and I say the word anthology, and I see people kind of go like that, because we've all been burned by anthologies, no doubt.
Sure.
We did not want to do that. We were so proud of our first one, Containment Breach Volume 1, which is on Comixology. We went triple the size this time, and the quality, we kept it way up. Everyone had to write a comic that had to do something about mythology, which they didn't know when we signed them on. And then everyone got a unique prompt that had to be tied in. So there's not a single story in this book that was in a drawer somewhere or was already drawn. It was created for this book. And then I as editor-in-chief, Mark Capitelli as senior editor, and if you need someone to edit your comic, short form, long form, get Mark Capitelli. He's got the writing, he's got the art side of it. James, as our art director, we wanted this to be phenomenal. We worked with every team, literally every team. Over 35 creators, people from India, Peru, Venezuela, Canada, England, obviously the United States, we all over. And I want this book in your shop because, I mean, hell, I'd like to be in your shop, right? But there are people in this book who the world needs to say. And the reason you have such a big indie section, and the reason it's so important to you is the reason that we made this book, is that there's people out there not connected to the big names that are doing astounding work. And this book really does that. So that's Containment Breach, Volume 2, Myth Reborn on Kickstarter. We are closing in on our $6,000 stretch goal where you get James's Atomic Anvil poster, 18 by 12, you get it. And I want people to have this book. We got 2 retailer levels, $20 for a physical copy, but you can get 3 for $40 at retailer level 1, and you can get what is it?
I think it was 6 for $80.
See, yeah, I'm so bad at math. Yeah, that sounds 6 for $80. Andrew, thank you. Right, and because we really want huge discount on that because we want these in stores. So that's what Containment Breach is. I want people to order this. I want people. We fund it in 36 hours. This is going to happen, but I want to go get it out there even further. And it's because I would love to hear people like you in stores all over the country talking about this book and these incredible people. So that's Containment Breach, Volume 2, Myth Reborn. And it is, James and I are really proud of our work. And James laid out this book, and James is an unbelievable artist. I am so proud of everyone else in this book, though. So that's what this is, and why I really hope everyone will jump on this.
Just fantastic.
Just layout on it. It looks great. What do we come up with? 163 pages. I mean, the thing's thick. It's thick. It's like you won't be able to read it in one sitting because there's so much content in there to really absorb it. I mean, there's so many different styles and stuff. It's really cool. I'm so proud of it, and there's no stinkers in there. It's like it's a really good compilation, and people really worked hard towards the whole myth thing, making it their own. And there's no derivative stories in there. One of the things that, in general, not even to poke fun at Marvel or anything, it's just that the whole world out there is all this like derivatives. This is a repeat of this, which is a changeover of that, which is a sequel to this. Christian and I have really been into making unique things and stuff that you haven't seen before. And so some of the stories will have characters in there that you would recognize.
Right there.
Mike just stopped on Fenrir, but it's a totally different take. You're not going to understand what Fenrir and Thor are doing in this one. It's a completely different take on the stories that you think you know.
Yeah, see, and that's amazing because comic books are supposed to be American mythology, and they had their mythologies being built for so long, but then now those mythologies, like Mike was saying just before we segued into this, that they're being lost to make room for not mythologies, but just stories based around a certain time, and this time, which is not really mythology, it's just a story of its time, where actually having an actual anthology of mythology to be in a nice book and to be as perfect as you make it sound. And it looks great from what I'm seeing. That Fenrir is, I don't know who drew that, but that Fenrir, shout out to that person for sure.
Brian freaking Beardsley. And if you look him up,
Brian Beardsley.
Brian Beardsley. He is a member of, and I can never not shout it out, the comicjam.com, which is one of the coolest. Every week they just today they dropped the folk horror. Every week there's a new theme, and people do one-page comics. And I've got a new one out there with drawn by Gabe Martini, lettered by Tom Lynott, both of whom are in Containment Bridge Volume 2. Well, James is pouring something good. I could hear the cork. Yeah, right. You can hear that. You know what?
You didn't hear anything. I'm just drinking water.
Of course, in an old jug, in an old tiny jug.
All right, I'm gonna start playing those. What is it? The jug song?
The jug band. But Brian Beardsley drew that. Travis Hill, who is an awesome writer, who just dropped a free comic on Twitter with Ben Humanick, also in our book. Travis Hill wrote this Thor story, and it is Thor, Norse mythology Thor, his take on it, nothing to do with Marvel. And we had a really cool. So, Michael, we wanted to talk process too. I'll drop this really quick. Travis sends an email to me and Mark and James and Brian. He wants to get into what Thor's hammer, Mjolnir, or Mew Mew, one of my favorite things from the MCU movies, is made of. And we did all this research because everyone knows what Kirby said, or everyone knows what the Marvel answer to this question is. And the question was, did he take that from the Norse mythology or did he make that up? And it was totally made up. It's a Marvel thing. And so he wanted to get into that. And what we discovered, and this is that editing process I'm talking about, was trying to figure out what Mjolnir was made of. It didn't matter in the Old Norse mythology. But who made it? The dwarves who made it was a factor. And that he put into the comic, and that twisted the story just a little bit in another brand new direction. And this is that creative process that I wrote ours, James drew ours, but being involved as a team on this book, everyone got to play around in somebody else's sandbox, and it evolved every story more. And Travis was awesome. He's a great dude. Awesome to work with. Brian was right there. If you go to Fugitive Poems YouTube channel, we're going to be putting out their interviews shortly. I interviewed everyone in the book. Subscribe.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Can you send me a link? I'll post it again in the comments.
Absolutely. Every week I am putting out, and James is doing the editing, I am putting out, we're putting out these interviews that we did with our contributors because, what is it? A rising tide lifts all boats. We want to be that rising tide for everyone in the book because they're amazing. So not only did we put them in the book, but we got these interviews up where you can see what they're doing, what else their other projects are, and follow them because everyone should be. I just threw it in the chat for you.
I see it. I got it right now. Thanks.
Please subscribe. And by the way, when a certain number of people subscribe, we can finally change the name of the channel, which is something like 00XBLOU812-769-96. So please subscribe for all of our things.
See, that is fantastic. That sounds like a bullpen. That sounds like people working on a comic book. Where in Marvel, there's no more bullpen. It's like bulls running around with pens. I don't know what it is over there, but
yeah.
Okay, somebody draw that quick.
Something else over there.
That sounds like first of all a very fun time. I love being in collaborative work with people. One says an idea and it sparks another idea and it just keeps going until you have to say, all right, we got enough ideas. How do we make it? So, because that's always the hard part is you're sitting there and you get 12 ideas or whatever. And it's like, we can't use all 12, at least not right now. And how do you, and what was that for you guys with a story like that? You're studying Thor's, hammer here. And you're getting all this concept. Was it too many ideas, and how did that finalize?
You know what? It was such a smooth process. I was about to grab them, but I'm not going to grab them. I pulled like 5 books off of my reference shelf. Matt Battaglia was on a few weeks ago.
He was on here. Awesome dude. Love your work, man. All right.
Intense collaboration or complete solitude, and I agree 100%. Yeah. And most of the best comics are a combination therein. It's like, all right, we've all talked. Leave me the, and this is James, right? All right, leave me the hell alone. I got it. I'm going to go make this a thing now. Matt, if you go to Dauntless Stories, if you go to Dauntless Stories, and Marcus Jimenez is doing great things with his indie company, Dauntless Stories. That's a place to check for books to put on the shelf. Matt has Ghosts of the Carousel, which is such a good book. And he was on this very show talking about it. And you can go to Dauntless Stories and you can order it right now.
When you got the show or?
I can't. I thought I had the book right next to me. I must have.
No worries. I was just going to give you the solo layout so you can see the book large. I did get a digital copy to read for the show, and awesome story. Let me.
Matt Battaglia's Ghosts of the Carousel. Matt is in our book. He's one of 2 black and white stories because we didn't want him to put color on it because his pencils are so freaking amazing. And I mean, look at this. Look at this randomly opening up to a page. He is so good. Dauntless Stories. And actually, Matt, I apologize. I forgot to put on Twitter when I received the book after complaining about not having gotten it yet. But I did get it, and I read it again immediately. I've read this 3 or 4 times. Dauntless Stories, Matt Battaglia's Ghost of the Carousel. Look at this work. He is so incredible. And he's in Containment Breach Volume 2. He's another one of these people that needs to be seen. He is, and we have on Fugitive Poems website a great part 1 so far of my interview with Matt Battaglia. And
I had some ice, but it don't disappear.
Okay.
Hey, so yeah, Matt's work is actually up on the Kickstarter too. I think we got some catalyst up there. If you want to show.
Oh, that's awesome. To me, I always think of the
one
strange name with no name.
It's actually got the name on it.
Yeah, I got it right here. I'm going to share it. I love looking at his work. When he was on the show, we looked at his styles and stuff, and he does a few different styles. But I really enjoy his loose work. Something like this or something that he did on Ghosts, because the emotion that you see in his work is really there. It's a lot looser than like his more, I guess if you want to call it more pro style. It's a very cleaner mainstream style, something like that. It's hold on, I can't. There you go.
Right.
Like he's got this cleaner style. It's a little more mainstream, a little more professional, and I like it. I like it a lot, but I love the looseness to his work because this emotion just pours through in it.
Yeah, he plays so good with that inks. I love writing, and that's fine. But my favorite thing about comics is inking, always, and that takes a savage short of Conan and all that. But the way the inks and the white, the guy's professional, bro.
And that's what Brian Beardsley did on the Thor comic as well. Was that that kind of focus? And so with Matt in the book, we got this incredible variety of styles and this kind of thing where he just put up it's a pen v brush, which means nothing to me until I ask and I want to learn more and more. And to me, that's part of, you were asking about how many ideas come into the collaborative process. And when you stop, I mean, listening and learning how James draws these things also gives me, there's a comic I'm working on that emerged because of James telling me a style he was playing with. And I wanted to draw something that fit that style. So learning about a pen could inspire a story. Not that the story's about the pen. Ah, crap, it is. I gave it away. No, but it's about, well, what can this pen do? What can you do with this? What do you think about Dustin Eugen's work on Descender with watercolors and for Jeff Lemire? And that I can't imagine the Ascender story not done with that watercolor style. It's intrinsic. It's all collaboration. Until they take it, and James took Delphine away, which is our story in the book. Once we figured it all out, and he used a watercolor style that's gorgeous on that. And I had the images in my head when I was writing Delphine, but they're gone. It's everything that he did now. I can't imagine anything else.
I love that, man. You're right about Dustin Wen in that watercolor where he's able to draw robots in watercolor, which is unbeknownst to me. They're hard-edged robots, but he has watercolor in there. It's crazy.
Yeah, that is insane. That you're 100% right. That contrast.
Yeah.
what was really cool too about putting together the anthology was seeing all the different styles that people go through, particularly thumbnails. Christian and I are both really surprised because Christian looks at my thumbnails, and I, of course, have a certain way of doing it. It was really cool to see the differences in the way people put them together, and then how they assemble together a page. I learned a lot from other artists looking at what they were doing. Jack VT in particular, he was nice enough to even share like a whole finished page with me. He's got a really interesting style. Like he does a lot of his work digitally, but you'd never know it. He really specialize. I wouldn't say specializes, but he likes to put like a natural newsprint sort of paper behind it, which is what we have in the story, Golden Apple. When he does his digital inks, he almost uses like an embossment on it. So when you look at it, it really looks like something that was not done on an old printer or something. It's a really cool style and technique, and I learned a lot by him sharing with me how he did that stuff. It's always amazing, especially guys. We have some guys on here who went to school for illustration and so forth, but we got other guys that just sort of taught themselves and sort of everything in between. Guys and ladies, I should say. We have a few ladies working as well, and others, and it's really cool to have those differing styles and kind of bounce ideas off each other and so forth. It's one of the great things about a collaborative work.
James, I just sent to Michael the Comic Jam last week. TheComicJam.com is your escape from work every week. Please go. Casey Allen and Kevin Lynch is in our book. Summer Steinhardt, they're doing incredible stuff with the Comic Jam. But last week they had a process week, and if you go and you click on that, you can see Jack Van Thom, the writer, submitted a script. This is someone else. I can't see it right now, but there's a bunch of people submitted to this. But the writers submitted scripts, and then the artists submitted their process pieces. It was a really cool week, and you can see how they get drawn. And this is this Rob Toll? I think this is Rob Toll.
This is the artist. The writer, Nick Bryan.
Yeah.
Does it say at the top who it is? Art, Rob Toll, letters, Letter Squids.
Rob Toll and I have done two one-page stories. He's unbelievable, and the finished product of this is incredible.
Wow, that's cool.
Right? Look at that last panel.
That maniacal clown face. That's crazy.
Yeah. And then I think the next one is Jack Van Thom's, and he actually put a Mike Mignola style, what's it called, instructional together about how he does it.
Hold on, I got the same.
Christian, what's the Letter Squid's name?
That's Justin. I'm blanking. He did Fellhound's awesome Captain Rayo, which a lot of stores are getting now. Letter Squids is.
I'm looking. I think you sent me two of the same ones.
No, it should just be scrolling down on that page.
Oh, just keep scrolling. Oh, okay. Sorry.
There's Space Corgi after that, and then after Space Corgi is Jack Van Thom's. It's called The Monsters We Face, and you'll see the process there.
Oh, The Monsters We Face. Okay. Oh, looks like Andrew got kicked off. I just noticed. I apologize.
Oh, crap.
Let me text him, see if he's going to come back on. He's welcome to come back on, but I know he might have had something else to do.
Yeah, that's Jack's style right there.
Justin, it goes by Letter Squids. I don't know his last name, but if you go to @Letter Squids, like the animal, the sea creature, the squid, he is an incredible letterer. He did Fellhound is this amazing LGBTQ story writer, and I say that because their characters are often in LGBTQ. Captain Rayo is this incredible book that she did, and Letter Squids did the lettering. She wrote and drew it, and he did the lettering, and the lettering is a freaking character in the book. He's unbelievable. So here's Jack's, and you can see that Jack wrote this entire thing up about process.
Now, I like looking at this. Number one, I'm not a Procreate fan for putting finished products together, but this is amazing to do in Procreate. That's number one. Number two, hold on, I'm just looking. We got Oh, I want to read Space Core. This is adorable. Number 2, I noticed the thing about this is what you're talking about, the texture he put in, right? On this page here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I actually did a similar thing. I did I'm part of a anthology for comic book school, and it was called what is it called? Panel. I think it was called. Oh, I'm blanking on it. I'll have to look it up. But I had to do like a Jack Kirby style. So when I did the page, I found the texture that looked like a 1960s like comic page, like newsprint paper, and I dropped it back on top of it so that it got that feel. But that was like the first time I ever did it to a comic. I like the way he's doing it here. It looks fantastic.
Yeah, he's got that style in our book. It's a pretty cool thing. We had to make sure we were actually thinking of putting him first in the book, but we want to make sure people didn't think the whole book was like that. That's how realistic it looks. Like you would think that the whole book was sort of made on newsprint or something. It's a really cool look, and guy's got a great style.
I love it. I'm still amazed he did all this on Procreate. I mean, I don't know, James. I know you're digital too on some stuff. Are you using Procreate for things? Or are you just?
No, I don't have the big fancy iPad that'll run that. But so I use Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint.
Yeah, that's what I work between too. I have the iPad, but I have hardly been on it in the last. I use it more to read digital comics, and it's almost like a book reader for me now. It's sad. I got this great thing, but it's also like 5 years old, so you could use a new one. But this is fantastic.
I got my tablet hooked up to my PC, so I prefer to use that today. I think that's the idea. The Procreate is to have that tablet style without the huge investment.
I have my iPad. It's in the other room, but it's God, when it was it? It's a 2016 or 2017 is when we got able to get like the 12.9 and the large one. Now the biggest one's like 10 inches. I bought it that big because I like more room. Like my Cintiq that I have is a 27-inch Cintiq. So when I draw, I love large, broad strokes. I think I just can't, to me, 13 inches of a screen is still a little small. I think to draw on. I like this. So it's either regular paper for me, and then bring it to my Cintiq, or I just felt it was off. I even have a Microsoft Surface, and that screen's too small for me.
Yeah, my tablet is 23 inches.
Yeah. I mean, that's not. I was going to look for the 24-inch, but they discontinued it when I was getting ready to buy my Cintiq. And I'm like, I don't want to go smaller, so I went up to the next size, which was 27. But yeah, if I go back again, if this when this thing goes, hopefully it's not for a long time. I might go a little smaller. It's just takes up a lot of room on the table.
Well, that's a great thing about Cintiq, so they last forever. Yeah. I bought Cintiq's Intuos, right? Is that the?
That's the tablet. That's the not the the Intuos is the tablet.
The Cintiq's the Cintiq is Wacom, right? Wacom.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Wacom, Wacom. Is that the same company?
Isn't that a Bugs Bunny chant? Wacom, Wacom, Wacom.
Yeah, something like that. So I had an Intuos 5, and I actually just I gave it to one of my students. It's still alive. I upgraded to paint on the screen. Yeah. I actually got XP Pen, which I really enjoy.
I like the XP Pens too. I use them at one of my jobs. I thought they're great.
Yeah, it's really cool. So I upgraded to that, and I just gave my old Intuos 5 to one of the students. The only thing that broke on it was after using it for so long, the connection, the wire connection got real kind of funky on it. So I had to go and get a Bluetooth from. Actually, I had to order it from Japan. But once I stuck that in there, it ran on a battery, and then I can hold it anywhere I wanted to. And it still works. I just gave it to one of my students.
That's great.
Yeah, and that was almost 10 years old. I mean, that's ancient for a piece of technology, right?
Yeah, these products last forever, so I love it. I mean, but I do think, hold on, but I do think if I go again, I might go XP Pen just because the price. It's such a great price, and they're so good, so good.
Hey, there's Brian. Oh,
if you scroll up one, and you'll see Brian, his latest. This is again the Comic Jam. I've got one this week.
I gotta see. I gotta check these out myself. I gotta see Jack's zombie there.
Oh my gosh! Go up one more, and there's Brian's latest, and absolutely beautiful. Done with. Hold on. That was written with. Tyler Tarleton wrote that. And this is Brian's latest with the Comic Jam. Absolutely beautiful. And he did the Thor and Fenrir with Travis Hill in our book. I'm telling you, and I hope we didn't. Is Andrew coming back? Because I was really enjoying.
I just said he goes. I'll try to pop in for a goodbye and thank you, but his.
Okay, I hope I'm sorry to lose him. Brian needs to be. I want people to see what Brian's done. If you go down one more, you'll see my latest, which Gabe Martini drew and Tom Lynott lettered. This is about the Golem. This is Gabe Martini, who's in our book. The artists are absolutely incredible, and I'm telling you, every week at the Comic Jam, they drop a bunch of comic one-pagers, and it's the greatest.
Can you tell us a bit about the Comic Jam? I'm not familiar. I've heard of it, but I'm not 100% familiar with it. Is it anyone could join? Is it a group of people who already belong to some? There's just friends getting together? And
I'm not allowed to talk too much about it after the third degree. No, I'm kidding. It's on Discord, the Comic Jam. I believe you have to be invited in. But people, what happens is people recommend other people to the administrators, or sometimes you just be talking to the administrators. You talk to Kevin D. Lintz of Lintz Lettering, who's amazing, and Casey Allen. Casey Allen, who did Bigfoot Knows Karate. At the top of this page, Jack's first one this week was Hey Joe Ryan, was done with Pete Woods, who created and drew Bigfoot Loves Karate. So they're the guys behind the Comic Jam, and every week the entire jam. Hey Evan, every week the entire jam votes on the theme. So the one that just got voted in this week was Planetary Adventurer. So by Sunday night, I got to write. I don't have to, but I'm going to write a script for Planetary Adventurer, whatever that brings to mind, and then I'll get paired with an artist. That's Gabe Martini, Brian. He absolutely killed it. And then a letterer and someone will color, and you got like 5 weeks to put this together, and then this week it comes out. So that Golem script I wrote 5 weeks ago, and then Gabe drew it, and then Tom Lynott, who was amazing, he lettered it, and then you see Brian's there, and every week you get to see these incredible people. And if anyone's interested, please let me know, and I'll put you in contact with the administrators. James has done some beautiful ones with them. And this is what's going on in the indie world that we wanted to not only be a part of, but to be a part of humping, of getting it out there, saying, hey, look, Brian's out there. You got to see what Brian Beardsley is doing, because it's freaking amazing. You got to see what Gabe Martini and Jack Van Thom and all these great writers and artists that we have.
All these guys are on Containment Breach too, also.
That's right.
Fantastic.
Yep.
This stuff is gorgeous. I mean, I'm going to have to start following this. Is this a website, or can you follow it on like Twitter? Where do we see these for us regular viewers who aren't part of your Discord?
No. This is on the web. This is thecomicjam.com.
Oh, okay.
Every week they drop. This week they just dropped this either this morning or last night. Folk horror was the theme that week, and here we are. So go to thecomicjam.com. Go to @thecomicjam on Twitter, probably on Instagram as well. Follow @Lintz Lettering. Kevin always puts out the announcements, and you'll see, and a bunch of jammers are in Containment Breach as well.
That's great. This stuff's gorgeous. It's something I'm going to have to sign up for and follow.
Please, I'll put you in contact with Kevin or Casey.
Sounds good. This is fantastic. I love this idea too, the concept behind it. I mean, especially for people trying to break into the indie world, this is a great way, or just into comics in general, just to get pieces for their portfolio and say, hey, look what I penciled and inked, or look what I wrote or colored, or this is a great thing for people.
I have been putting all of the ones that James and I also do on the Fugitive Poems site. So I've sort of been collecting them so people can check out our work at the Comic Jam. I just threw it in the chat. Every week I add to that particular page as seen on the Comic Jam. So you can see a lot of that stuff there. Evan wants to know if we have an open relationship. James and I we allow for occasional dalliances, brief encounters outside of our professional relationship.
So this is the stuff you've worked on together for the Comics Jam.
Those top two are James and I, and these are other ones that I've done underneath.
Okay. There's
Rob Toll, who I mentioned, and then Jack. That textured page one is the one I wrote for my wife, and Jack drew it.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Cows.
They're all different styles.
Oh yeah, at Cows Love Clover is that colorful one with the red mage. She's incredible. Sonia Kinsey, an incredible artist.
Hello.
There's Gabe Martini again with my Clouseau riff.
Yeah. Wow. Nice stuff.
Peter S., who's amazing. Yeah.
This was great stuff. You guys, I mean, what you guys do together, I've always said you make a great team. And what you're doing for the community, I think, is fantastic. So this is great stuff, man. I'm always impressed when I have you guys on. You just, number one, you're inspiring of what you guys are doing. Makes me just want to go and draw, which tonight is not a good night for me to do, but it's wow. Oh, looks like we got Andrew coming back. Give it a second. Let's make sure he isn't frozen.
That's and I've said this so many times, but I can't stop saying it. James,
thanks. Hold on. I like it. I do need to lose a bit of weight again now. I mean, I thought,
you talk about inspiration. Getting a partner like James, I have to write because I need him to draw stuff. And speaking of inspired, that beard that Andrew has, it makes me want to stop trimming mine. It's beautiful. It's absolutely.
Yo, in the name of Odin, I ask you, please. So I'm over here. I'm bugging out over here. So I am gonna go, but I do want to say thank you so much, and for having me and for you guys for putting that out. What I found so interesting as I was trying to make my way back here is that when you're studying art, even though you have a style, there's a spectrum of styles that you study in order to find yours. Mm-hmm. And I do want to read this book because I find it so interesting that there are people who, so many different artists are on this book, and they went through the spectrum of styles to find their own. But the moment you mentioned mythology, I wonder where their minds went when they went to see that kind of stuff. Because when Beardsley got his, he heard Thor, he heard Fenrir, and he was like, all right, it's got to look serious. It's got to look crazy. So I wonder how the rest of that book's going to look when it comes down to these people choosing their styles for particular stories and how the story's written and how it flows. Absolutely.
We've got this awesome artist, Sammy Ward from Britain, in there, and her interview is up on the Fugitive Poems YouTube channel. Andrew, you might want to check that out because she literally talks about that. She says, I have a mythology story, but the twist we got was different than what I normally do. So I had to reconsider and pivot my style to fit this kind of story. And the irony is it goes back to what you said earlier, Andrew, about comics being American mythology, is that her story that she got, the writer took it in a comic mythos direction. She gets into a book about mythology and she always draws mythology. She gets the one story that's an American comic style version of it, written by Sahith Tiger, who's an Indian writer. And she had to pivot her style to fit that. So it really was this cool switch around of what she normally did. It's exactly what you're talking about.
That's the best where it comes from. She was in her comfort zone. She came in her comfort zone and then popped right out of it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how great art is made.
I really hope you'll consider the retail levels for our book, because I think it's a book you'll be recommending to your customers. It's
absolutely. If I'm executive, I got to talk to the Super Saiyan executive, and I got to talk to this guy. And I hope we can get it in, man. Absolutely. You guys, great job just making comics and actually wanting to make comics for fun and stuff. Because I know a lot of people I talk to, a lot of creators, they lose some of it because it gets difficult or not fun. But you guys seem to have a handle on it, man. And I really hope we can have it in. I congratulate you 100% for just making real comics, making comics.
Thank you. That means a lot, man. Much appreciated.
And Mike, thank you so much for having me. Thank you for
anytime.
allowing me to say what I say.
Man, you're always welcome.
Thank you,
You're always welcome. Thanks for coming on.
Stay safe.
You too, Andrew.
Stay drawn, baby.
Go ahead, enjoy New Comic Book Day tomorrow, right?
Always.
Sweet. Always. See you later. Yeah, so that's always the busy day at the stores, Wednesdays, right? New Comic Book Day. I haven't been to a New Comic Book Day in a while. I miss it. It's always a fun day. It was like Christmas.
Now again, so much new stuff to discover.
Yeah, always good stuff. We're gonna wrap up in a few myself because I do need to get going early today. Hold on, we appreciate a guy like you in the shop, Andrew. Yeah, you guys, if you're in the Westchester area, definitely head down to the Spider's Web. It's on Yonkers Avenue, 887A. I will also give a pitch to the Euro Deli next door. They have this great sandwich there called the Executive.
The Executive. It's for Andrew.
It is fantastic. I go buy comics and I buy a sandwich and I go home. And that is how I do it.
The last time I was there with you, we got that sandwich.
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a great stuff to go over there. Before we wrap up, is there anything else you guys want to mention that we didn't mention? Oh, and there's another great place on the actually. If you're talking about Louie and Johnny's, it's 2 doors over from the comic shop. So good pizzeria there. If you're going down the street, there's a couple of nice Italian restaurants.
James is taking notes.
Are you drawing more on me? Do you need me to pose again?
I'll give you a background.
Background. You want to show it one more time?
Draw Michael like you draw your French girls.
Thanks. Wow.
So James, what do we want to say in closing?
Like us on YouTube.
Like us on YouTube.
I posted the link. Get them YouTube. You need to get I think it's 100 subscribers officially to change.
Yeah.
Listen, you guys started a couple of weeks ago with that. So don't worry. It takes a few minutes. It took me a good 3 months before I was able to change my YouTube name, maybe 4. So
that's all we want. We just want to change the name.
I felt the exact same way as you guys. I just want to change the name. I just want to change. Joe, first of all, I agree that is a great drawing. James is a fantastic artist. And as he said, I'll see you in December here. We're going to talk before that, but just a little shout out. December 10th, 11th, and 12th in Edison, New Jersey is Christmas Con. I will be running the kids section. If you guys are really into those Hallmark Channel Christmas movies, almost all of the celebrities are going to be there. So if you're like my wife and DVRs all of them and watches them all and waits even until next year to continue watching them because she hasn't watched them off the DVR because Christmas is over.
If there was ever the comment from half of a marriage that just sneaks in there, oh, my wife really likes these things and never takes them off a DVR. And anyway, right there is a marriage, right, perfect in a box. If you needed to know what marriage is, there it is. There is love and frustration. Just couldn't not say it. My wife really loves these holiday movies, and if she doesn't start taking things off the DVR, but what is great.
Thanks. I have this recorded. I didn't think.
Everyone knows that she's wonderful and perfect.
It's okay. You know, she doesn't watch these anyway, so.
And you. And Your Honor, as the next bit of evidence in this divorce, I have this video that I'm going to play. Here he is saying it himself. Look at the passive aggression.
It's okay. I'm okay with it. I'm very okay with it. She hears me all the time. Does she need to hear me on this?
My wife watches those movies too, and the snob in me goes through the roof. I see her watching these things, and I try to bite back the commentary, and I'm like, it's the same as the last 45 movies, which she could say about the action movies I watch, right? But yeah. I walk in, but I've ruined them for her. I have given her the beat sheet of how movies work, act 1, act 2, act 3. So I'll walk in, and I'm like, oh no, the ex-boyfriend came back, and now the couple's in a fight, but they don't really know what the other one did. Oh, is there an item? What's the item that they're going to bring in that's going to save the relationship? And she'll be like, he found a stack of letters earlier. And I'm like, oh, good. He'll bring that back.
I do the exact same thing. I sit down, I'll watch them with her, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is happening. Here's what's going to happen next. And boo, 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 boo. Yeah. You could just leave the room, you know? You could just, you don't have to watch with me.
It's so sad they've broken up. Oh, it's a good thing they're going to get back together in the last 10 minutes of Act 3.
Listen, if this comment...
Take my wife, please.
All right, guys. I got to wrap up. I'll drop you backstage. Thanks, guys, for coming on. You guys follow on YouTube. Check out, if you haven't donated already, they only need what, about a little over 300 for Christian to get his head chopped off there, his hair chopped off, not head, sorry, your hair. And if I didn't donate already, I would donate enough just to have it happen. You know,
we're gonna do a snuff film for.
I mean,
all right. This is enough for my family to be okay. You can kill me on camera.
It's a great project to back everything. I mean, you even heard Andrew. Andrew was loving what you guys are doing. And you know, he's up there in the retailers. This is the stuff we need to, you know, hit the
get that video on Al Jazeera.
I can't, Andrew, if I can walk into the Spider's Web in my hometown of Yonkers and see our book on the shelf, my head will explode with excitement. It would be an absolute honor. And absolutely worth cutting this hair.
We have Christian. You said that a couple of guys were thinking about having us in for book signings. Which ones was that? Is that set in stone yet, or?
I'm not going to say anything yet. Actually, some of them are set in stone, but I'm working all the angles out. But listen, if the Spider's Web wants us to come in and sign books, talk to people, talk process. If I'm just throwing this out there. If the incredible Michael Gracia could come with us to the Spider's Web or any store in the tri-state area for a book signing panel discussion about creation, I'll be happy to
that. I'll come moderate a panel for you guys. I'll sign your books. I have nothing to do with it. I'll be happy to sign.
I'll just come in and I'll sign random comics.
Hey, just go on.
I'll just sign Spider-Man and Batman.
The old guard? This is good. Here you go. A random page in the middle.
I'll put it nice big letters with one of those paint markers.
All right, guys. Let me let you guys go. I do have to end early today. I want to thank you guys for coming on. Always a blast. Always a fun time. You're coming back for sure at some point. I'm sure there's at least 1 or 2 visits for you in 2022. So we'll be talking about that. Again, thank you for doing what you guys are doing. Thank you for putting anthologies, bringing artists together. You know, you guys are doing great. So for those out there, if you haven't already backed, please go to Kickstarter on Fugitive Poems and look them, back the book, number 1, and follow them on YouTube. Let them change their name, please. So I know the team.
Evan, go out there and sell some books out in Oregon. I'd love to come out there and sit in Oregon for a while. See all my old friends out there, and my new friend, my best boy out there now.
Evan Knapp, absolutely the man. Guys, please check out the Kickstarter, spread the Kickstarter, and keep always Tuesday nights Get in Tune. We're going to try and be here like 45 times.
You're welcome as many times as you like.
We're just going to hijack this show completely.
Hashtag
come on. I'll let you guys run it one night.
The bond.
Thank you, Michael, and thank you,
You're
Andrew.
very welcome. Thanks again, guys. I'm going to talk it backstage. All right. All right, guys. So again, really fun show. Love having those two on. Definitely fugitivepoems.com. Kickstarter, check out Fugitive Poems, and on YouTube, check out Fugitive Poems. Go follow and donate. Well, do it all. Back it, the book, do it all. You know, let's support these guys as much as we can. Let's get this video out to the Kickstarter out to the retailers. Let's get them to back the retailer levels. So when this is up later, feel free to share and get it out to everybody, you guys. Next Tuesday, I will have Sam Vera on with his Kickstarter for Forbidden. I believe it's issue 2. Do I have a copy of Forbidden down here? I know I do. I don't know where. It is a fantastic. I think this might be part of it. I don't know. I got so many books I'm still going through that are that were Kickstarter books. What's this one here? Nope, not it. All right. I can't find it now. You guys totally come next week, and don't forget to back Containment Breach for the Fugitive Poems. You guys have a great night. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you on Tuesday.